pledge, please.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please.
Mayor Minas,
Here.
Mr. Magistrelli,
Here.
Mr. Sheriff,
Here.
Ms. Domzalski, here, Mr. Hips,
Here.
Ms. Nolan, here, Mr. Wojciech,
Here.
Mr. Bryan,
Here.
Mr. Wasowski, here, Chief Zoltz,
Here.
Mr. Walters,
Here.
and I'm present.
Approval of the minutes, please.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Ms. Noack, seconded by Mr. Hips for approval of the minutes for the regular council meeting of September 25th, 2019. Are there any comments, questions, or amendments? Hearing none, all in favor of approval?
Yes.
All opposed? The minutes are approved.
At this time, is there anyone in the audience that would like to address us at this time? If so, please come up to the podium and sign in, please. Hi, Ms. Hips, how are you today?
I'm great, and yourself?
Good. Press the silver button on the, thank you.
What I'd like to do is, on behalf of my husband and my daughter Mark, I want to thank the Northfield Village Police Department and Fire Department for responding so quickly to a car accident that we had in the village last Wednesday morning. They were so fast, and it was great because they came and checked my daughter, and while we were talking, the paramedics were great and entertained her while we were doing that. So I just wanted to say I was so honored to be a village member because you guys were so quick to respond, and it was wonderful to see that. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else in the audience have anything for us today? Anyone? Ms. Kramer? Could you turn on your microphone too, please?
Hello, how are the bridge?
Good.
You? Good, okay, I just have a question, we got another flyer out again. And it states again that, Mr. Sheriff, that you said you're gonna, offer free rubbish when you come into mayor. How are you gonna do that?
I'm gonna talk to, get a committee together, we're gonna put it on the budget. When the time comes, we're gonna do everything we can to afford trash pickup for all of our residents. I don't think that you would be opposed to that, would you?
Yeah, absolutely, I would,
Okay.
because I do know our
Can
council
I
members
ask you a
already.
question?
Do
Can I ask you a
not.
question?
Sure,
Well,
go ahead. No, actually, this is
you
my
know
time,
that woman
so
right there sitting in the middle of
I don't
it?
care what you have to say right now. Wait, you
I
can talk
wanna know
after
what-
my 5 minutes.
I wanna know. if
You
know
can
that
talk
lady back
after
there.
my 5 minutes is up.
Well, there's a conflict of interest here, because you're good friends with the mayor, and you're also
Okay,
good
and
friends
you've
with
had
the
people
mayor.
come up and speak for you, and so has Mr.
You
Wojciech
live
and
next
everyone
door
else.
to the mayor, is that?
I live in the village.
You
I live on
next door?
Coventry Drive. And
Well,
that's
this is
another
a
point.
conflict of interest.
No, it's not. My driveway is my street is getting done. Coventry Drive. You put on your flyer that you are going to be finishing that up if you get in to be mayor.
I'd like
That you're
to,
going to do that.
yes.
How are you gonna do that when it's already being done?
That's one street we're doing, we still got 4 more to go.
Oh, wait, but we haven't done any of them. He hasn't done anything. This council and the current mayor has not done anything for our village. We have 4 left.
I don't think I've seen him pulling a bull float, if that's what you're saying.
He's done what he can.
And I haven't
We
seen,
also, the first
I
year
haven't
that we
seen him lay
had,
out any tar.
the first year that we've had, that he was in office, or the first 3 years, we did not have the, Racino.
When
The
we
next
did-
year he
excuse
was
me,
in,
when we did
when we did
Cranbrook,
get it,
when we did
he did
One
not
person
have
at a
money
time,
for that.
please.
thank you.
And then the next one, am I out of time already?
No, you're good.
Okay, and then he had his, what, now he all confused me again. Okay, so the Racino, he did not have it for the first 3 years. The first year after he did have it, he didn't have any money. The following year, we did sewers. And then he started on the streets. You are beating a dead horse
I know
with the
that.
dang questions
I've
that
been
you are
beating a dead
asking.
horse for
The
a long
rubbish? And what are you gonna do? Get everybody out
I
of
have
council?
been
How are you gonna
beating
get
a dead
everybody out of
horse.
council?
Thank you for that, I have been beating
Yeah,
a dead
you're right,
horse.
because
I'm
you keep
sorry,
asking
you're
the same
correct.
question over and over that
I
they
did-
keep
I
answering
did-
and you are, all you're doing is
You're absolutely
wasting
right.
everybody's time.
No, they're wasting your time.
No, not at all. You do not speak for
Marcia,
RB at all.
listen,
I'm
I don't
telling
wanna
you.
even discuss my platform with you right now. You could discuss it with anyone.
I
in
can
the
discuss it
neighbors
as
that
long
you
as
like,
I
but
want, I've got
not really,
5
you got
minutes.
5 minutes here, ma'am.
Yeah, and what else was the other thing? Oh, where do you live, by the way?
I live at 9229 Cranbrook.
Okay. I haven't seen you around in a
And
while.
I know that
Oh, why
somebody.
didn't we get our flyers, by the way?
I'm sorry,
We didn't get our flyers, by the way, that you had just sent out again
I
from me.
ran out of flyers.
It's funny, every time you send something out. we
I don't
get
wanna give you a flyer because you're not interested in anything I have to say. How do you know what's on my flyer if you didn't get a flyer?
I have lots of people that tell me what's going on.
Okay,
And you know what, I'm gonna call you a liar because
You
you're
should
not gonna
talk
be
to them
able to
about
get-
it and get a
I'm gonna
copy
call you a
of it.
liar because you're pulling that rubbish thing, you cannot do that without council. And council has always said
You're talking
over and
about
over,
what you're
they
talking about.
cannot
It's your
afford
time.
it.
How
Why
much-
are you gonna keep asking that? I've got all the time
Minute
in the world
15,
to
you're very
talk.
disrespectful.
I'm just asking you questions, you're running off of lies.
No.
What is your, yes, nobody's gonna vote in rubbish. They're not going to do it, we don't have it in the budget, there are more important things to be done around here.
Then
And you
should have
can't
ran
get
for
rid
mayor,
of
and maybe you
sewer
could've-
either.
You could have figured
And I
that
still
out,
think
too.
that your disrespect
I'm
to
not
police
disrespecting
officers
you.
are horrible.
You're the one who's disrespecting right now with your tone.
Yeah, I am very much to you,
Thank you
because I
for-
think
You should.
that you
please
should
talk
not
about
be
it.
mayor at all, and I think you should be
I
more
haven't
respectful of our
disrespected you.
police officers.
You don't even know me personally. This is an
I've seen
overstated
too much
attack.
of things that I don't really want to know personally. If you want me to rebring
Okay,
those
you don't
videos
know
up again.
me, and you don't know, you haven't sat down with me and talked to me. You live next door to the mayor.
Oh,
For
yeah,
God's
you're
sake.
right. You're exactly right. And I know
You're his
exactly
friend,
what's
and
going on
naturally
in this
you're his
village
friend,
every
and you're gonna
day.
side with him. It's a conflict, actually.
It is not a conflict of interest at all when I know what's going on in the village and I see it with my own
I do
eyes.
too. I've been here since '73. When did you move into the village?
I've lived here my whole life. I've been here since 1970.
Well, then you've been here as long as I have, and God bless you for that.
Oh, no, wait a minute. We went back on this last time. Last year I said 2.5. You said 2 years, 2 months. I beat you by 3 years.
5 minutes. Anyone else in the audience have anything for us tonight? Mrs. Ware?
I would like to just ask council, every time he interrupts me, can my time be stopped? Because I don't think it's fair that he gets to speak on my time.
Brad?
Excuse me?
Is there a ruling there, please?
I didn't.
And the time we paused.
Can my time be paused every time he interrupts me and speaks?
But the mayor can, as he's been trying to do, to not get two people speaking at once. So you have uninterrupted time. If you don't ask him any questions, then
I appreciate
you
it.
have the whole time.
Have a bad night, Mr. Sheriff? I find it really interesting, your apology that you gave in the newsletter. You played a victim. How many women do you think were victims when you made that joke up? Your joke, your humor about a woman being attacked, screaming, no, no, and you thought that was funny, right? That was a poor example of an apology. And then you went even further and wrote another letter saying that you are owed an apology by the police department. I want to know why you think you deserve an apology. You couldn't even give one to the residents of Northfield Village. You are supposed to be representing a ward. Do you even know where your ward is? Oh, you're not going to speak now?
Would you like me to answer that question?
Well, I think if I asked you a question,
Yeah, I
you
know
could
what I
answer
would.
it, or is that hard?
I know what my ward at. You're in my ward, is that true? You're in my ward. Did you
You
run
don't
for
know?
council?
You
Did
don't
you ever
know?
run for council? Have you ever wanted to be in this seat right here?
I think I asked you a question
I
first,
told
right?
you.
No,
You're
you
in my
didn't.
ward.
You said, yeah, I know my ward.
I'm
Where's
in
your
your
ward? Where's your ward at?
Now, listen, I'm gonna tell you, you're in my ward.
Oh, really?
Yes, you
Are
are.
you sure?
I'm positive.
Do you know what my name is yet?
I know what your name is.
What is it?
It's Tracy Ware.
Great, good job. You did some research, didn't you?
Now
Good for
came and
you.
spoke in that last meeting, and I appreciate your speaking up here right now.
You appreciate it.
Mhm.
As much as you appreciated the fact of your apology you gave to the residents in Northfield Village for that disgusting display of humor.
You could address that question to my lawyer. I'm not gonna speak on that.
Oh, your lawyer, the same one that's supposed to be sending me a letter, right? Did you figure out my address to send me that letter? Because I didn't get that either. I'm still waiting. Do you need help with it? Do you want a template for it? Because I could give you a template if you need it. I don't know what kind of lawyer that is if they can't get in touch there. It's been, what, 2 weeks since last time we spoke?
You know, I gotta tell you, I know where you live, and I've been flying in the neighborhood with brochures, and I know where you live.
You know where I live.
Yes, I do, and I was told by Mr. Montucci where you live.
Okay, that's good. So you couldn't figure it out on your own, even though I'm in your ward, right?
I don't have time to do research on people.
Oh, right. Especially your constituents. I mean, why would you go that far? You're all there for the mayor, for the people, right?
I am for people.
Right. What have you done since you've been in council?
Well, for one thing, I have talked about a lot of things.
You've talked.
tried-
What have you done instead of
When I ran
talking?
for mayor last time, I brought.
I wasn't asking
things
about
to
what
the
you did
council.
previously. I asked
Yeah,
about what you did while you were on
I brought
council.
many
What have
things.
you done while you've been on council? What have you done for Northfield Village? What have you done for your ward?
Well, like you said, like Ms. Kramer said, it's like beating a dead horse.
Wait,
I've been
basically,
to all
I
the
said
building and,
nothing.
I've been
I didn't
all,
say
I've
beating
been
that
to
horse.
every single building and grounds, work sessions, except for 2 because of a family emergency, and also
You've
for,
been to building and grounds
Yes.
meetings.
yes.
You didn't even know
And-
you were on the board.
No, well, you see, there's a question about that. If you would look on May 8th, 2019.
Now he's remembering.
No, well, I did research on this, and I listened to the meeting, and you should listen to the meeting at 20 minutes.
I was
Asked
there
to be on
last,
that
what, 2 weeks
board,
ago
and
at
I'm
the meeting
denied.
where you didn't
Listen,
even realize you were
I'm
on
gonna
the board?
address this, and I'm gonna address what you're asking me.
You're not
I'm-
answering my
this is- I'm
questions,
gonna
you're just
address it
running the
because-
time, that's what you're
Well,
doing.
well, here I'm gonna tell you, if you look
You know,
at the
I'd like
minutes.
to actually address council at this moment. You know, Macedonia did a great thing when they censored
Yeah,
that
well-
gentleman.
Well, anyway,
And I
May
would
8th.
ask, I'm sorry, but
2019.
you're
Person that's on,
interrupting
Mr.
me
Chair.
while I'm talking to council. I'm asking council to please take into consideration and maybe bring it to a vote that he should be censored. His display as a Ward B council person with those videos was downright disgusting. His display to the police officers in this village is inappropriate. It is not something that should be representing Northfield Village at all. It's disrespectful, it's dishonorable. He shouldn't even be sitting in that seat.
You should be sitting in this seat, shouldn't you?
I don't wanna be sitting in
Yeah,
this
you
seat,
did,
sir.
you put petitions and they didn't find your
Your
signatures.
5 minutes are up, Mrs. Ware.
Thank you.
Anyone else in the audience like to address us at this time? Hearing none, moving on.
We had 2 other people hold petitions for our council at large seats, and only 2 people are on the ballot, so what was the point of that?
And for the record, you are on roads and public works. Or no,
Well,
you're on
that's
buildings
fine.
and grounds.
Well, let's see.
You're on buildings and grounds right there.
Okay, I can appreciate that, Mr. Hips, but on May 8th, 2019, I asked at that point, can I be on that?
It's interesting,
board?
this
And
is
then-
dated
and-
February
And you pass it over to our president of council. For the record, you check it yourself at 20 minutes at that meeting. Check it,
Yes.
see what
In
it said. I'll quote him
2019,
if you like, I got the quote here.
hang on. This piece of paper, February 14th, 2018, you're on that board, that committee.
Excuse me. If you want to talk about it now, we'll have the quotes.
I just have a question in regards to this. Sorry. Our committees are formed right at the beginning of each year. If there are any changes, is that correct or incorrect?
Correct. Right at the organizational meeting or shortly thereafter.
Okay, so the opportunity for change comes at the following new year, if you request a change or something of that nature, correct?
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
You can read your quote from 2019, but you've been on since February 14th, 2018. So
I've been in every one of those meetings, Mr.
that's great. We're all allowed to come to anybody.
So I wasn't a part of the board, but I was led to believe by Mr. Magistrelli that I wasn't, because he's announced it at the May 8th meeting at 2019 at 20 minutes. Check it. He says I could come to those meetings even though I am not in that committee. Check it yourself. May 8th, 2019, 20 minutes.
Mr. Shearer, that's what I said, everyone's allowed at every meeting. We could have,
So you could have said, hey, don't you know you're on there, Keith? Come on.
Shouldn't you know what
You want
committee
me to?
you're on?
I already should have tripped over my tongue.
Keith,
Thank you very much.
everyone got this sheet when we got it.
You guys, you're avoiding the real issue, Mayor. You're all avoiding the real issue.
Yeah, I asked him, son.
We deny any kind of funding for our parks, and I could go over, and I've been harping, that's your words, harping on you for months. You've said that at a meeting, and we had one meeting. We had one meeting on the 22nd of May, one 20-minute meeting, and we did leaps and bounds. But now we're coming up on a new year right now, and we need to have something in there for those parks, because those parks are shameful, and you know it is. All of them are shameful. They're terrible. And we got benches that are coming up out of the ground. We got footers coming up, and we got to tell Trish, and like, I could start going quotes, we have to talk to Chris about doing something this year. And now this 5-year plan that all of you are talking about is going to turn into a 6-year plan now. And yeah, I can tell you, okay, here since we're going over this, Mr. Walters, the other thing, and I'm going to quote him word for word, the other thing that came up, like the last meeting, the parks, and trying to get to, equipment and things like this. This is on the 11th of April. I feel like the villagers, us as a whole, we kind of try to do everything at the last minute. As the budget is ready to be due, I really suggest, and I would like to be a part of. We put committees together for these things, and then we plan at the end of the year and to get ready, so we're not just hitting Tricia at the end. To which I've asked for this before thing, so we can. That's my whole issue with this. Like, there's being honest, we can triple our budget, spend the money, What I mean, you can triple it, and you still wouldn't get all the projects done. So there's got to be a cutoff as to what we think we can get done in the year. You can't get everything done in 1 year, and you can only spend so much of that income we have. And the Mayor Jesse Nee has quote at 44 minutes, 25 seconds at meeting 4/11/2019. I've been talking to a company. We've been communicating through email and other sources of social media that is going to help us with our 5-year plan for the parks. So I am trying to get all that together. Being here, 8 hours a day doing that, to try to, put something together for council to actually look at so we can get things going in the parks. I understand that there's people up here that wanted the parks to be done. I get it. I want them done too. But I feel like we shouldn't fly by the seat of our pants. I feel like we really need to sit down and plan everything out and spend money the right way. And either Ms. Domzalski or Tricia Iglesias, quote, not sure which one, but 45 minutes, 19 seconds into the meeting. But that's not just inclusive of the parks. That should be for the entire village. And I've been saying, Mr. Walters, quote, so I think we're in agreement that I need.
The minutes are published, thank you.
No, I'm talking now, and I'm going to tell you what this is. You guys brought it up. I want to speak. This is the
Can
point.
I just ask one
We're going to go to Robert's
question? You're
rules.
killing my ears. Can you just?
I'm sorry.
Not so
I'm
close.
sorry, but
It's
I want
okay.
you guys to know. So I
I
think
know,
we're
but
in
it's
agreement
like
that we need a committee.
Mr.
together.
Shearer, when you're done, I can address the.
I want you to, Brad, Mr. Bryan. So I think that if you have big committee meetings and work sessions and start here and then start there and maybe talk to our people on each ward, see what we gotta do. But it's pretty obviously that we got to get back on track. And then council meeting 4/24/19, Mr. Hope Gibbs, quote, and if I'm wrong on these, you guys better correct me, but I'm not. Mr. Hibbs, quote, 31 minutes, 6 seconds. From listening to the council meeting, it is apparent that we need to have a meeting about the parks. It's a little disappointing that one of the council members wanted to commandeer this. And he didn't contact me about having a meeting. It was such important, and I said work session, such an important issue for this work session, then I don't know why I was not contacted to schedule this sooner. And it's been something you've been harping on for months, and it's that committee's responsibility to take care of that. So if you'd like to have a meeting, we can discuss scheduling that at some point. And then I said, Mr. Chair said, I would like to have a work session as soon as possible to the 5-year plan. We talked about the park several times. We talked about allocating funds for the parks on 3/28/18 at 17 minutes 44 seconds. We had a work session meeting before council meeting at 5/22/19 at 15 minutes 40 seconds. We talked about the 5-year plan, and at 16 minutes and 14 seconds, Mr. Hepp said, we had a brainstorming work session in regards to the park. At May 8th, 2019, regular council meeting at 20 minutes, I asked to be on the committee, Building and Grounds. I was denied to be on that committee by Mr. Magistrelli. I was told that I could attend any work session meeting, even if I wasn't on the committee, and I will add that I have been to every Building and Grounds committee meeting since I have been on council, with the exception of 2. One absence was due to a family emergency, and the other one due to illness. I am disappointed because I have been harping about the parks for months, as Mr. Hipp said, and yet council members are ignoring me and the villagers, and we are now coming up on the budget meetings at the end of the year. The 5-year plan will now be a 6-year plan because we don't have a plan. What happened with that company, Mayor, the one that you were communicating out in North Carolina with the social stuff?
Yeah, I can answer that, I can answer that question, Mr. Sheriff.
I just want the parks to be included. This is what I want. This year, I want to get.
Mr. Sheriff, would you please, we're trying to answer your questions and you won't let anyone say anything. So please let Mr. Bryan answer your question. And then let Mr.
You
Walters
should answer the question, not Mr. Bryan.
Excuse me. Stop butting in. We heard you. Now, please let him explain.
Yes, Mr. Sheriff, the mayor was in discussions, had many discussions with the company about what they could do as far as putting together a plan for the parks, and was engaged in talking with them. They did work for a community in this area, and the mayor asked me to reach out and contact them. I did know some people in that community and talked to them, and they said they did not feel like they got good value for the extensive amount of money they paid to the company. They just, the things were set up, weren't really being implemented by the constituents, the employees, and that sort of thing. And they felt they spent a lot of money to the company, and it just really didn't work for them. And it wasn't a productive use of their money. So some of the ideas I did talk to the mayor about, I talked to Mr. Walters about, and we thought we would have similar problems making that work, and it wouldn't be a good use of taxpayers' money.
I want to get these parks going. I don't want to wait for 6 years. I don't want to keep on extending it. I've been talking about it since I've been on council. I want to get it going.
Okay.
And whether you're talking to somebody, excuse me, whether you're talking to somebody in North Carolina or Cincinnati, or wherever you're talking to somebody, please, let's get a work session going before we have to get with Trish and say we want to put this.
I would have a work session when it didn't work for the village. Okay, so, could you answer his question, Mr. Walters?
I'm not sure which question I'm answering, but,
Can you tell us what we've done for the park, how much money?
Yes, you tell us what we've done for the parks, please.
what we've done,
Yes.
well, we did put in the parking lot that we budgeted for, which is for the park. We aren't finished yet, we still have the cosmetic area of it, but we did the bulk of it, which has been in the plan. The playground, as far as I guess he's talking about Smith Park Playground. The Smith Park Playground, as we mentioned, you have to have a plan from the company, which we have met with, and we are waiting on their plan. And then once you get a plan, you go to a work session and you review it. So, Mayor and I spent a few hours with the company, so we can bring it to a work session. The company's out of North Royalton, not North Carolina. That North Carolina one fell through some time ago. But what we have not done is like, and I have had calls, is bleachers, dugouts, scoreboards for ball fields and an outdoor track, which I was asked today, are we building a high school athletic facility? And no, I don't know, I've never heard of any of this. Bleacher, this is in this, which I ended up getting a copy of, it says, update our outdated outdoor facilities, including adding bleachers, dugouts, scoreboards for the ball fields, outdoor track, remodel Smith Park Pavilion, which I don't know what we do to remodel, but we are fixing the softening in it, and fixing some of the areas that need to be fixed. And then construct a new Huntington Park, but I've never heard this before in a meeting. I've never heard of any of these things in a meeting. The last I knew was we're trying to do something with the big apparatus, playground equipment at Smith Park. We are addressing that. That has to come in. We're trying to get this done so we can get it to the budget for the 2020 year. As far as, for me, Mr. Sheriff, out of all the things you're talking about, and so many of these things kind of touch my department, I've never gotten a phone call from you.
I've talked to you about it off the record. I've sat and talked to you about it, and it's not asking.
Can I speak?
Would you please let him speak, Mr. Sherry? Let you talk for like 10 minutes.
So
Let him
here's the
please.
thing, I've never, up till I approached you about this stuff, but I'm just telling you, like, when you deal with some of this stuff, and all the other council people know, I've heard from every council person here, when they're thinking of something, or when something comes up, or when a resident approaches them and something. My point is if you're gonna talk to, like, also, like, give me fair warning, because when you start talking about these things, who do you think they're gonna call? The kind of department that it kind of touches. And I'm sitting here and like, I don't know. And I don't know if I'm helping you with that. And it's just like, it's getting to be really frustrating. Okay? You can't tell people, like, I don't know how we'd get rid of this. I know the budget. I know what it takes to do it, but I don't know how the heck we'd get rid of sewer billing when we can't keep up with repair. Do you know when our sewer lines were put in, Mr. Sheriff?
Yes.
When?
Looking for a date on that one.
I'm not real sure exactly when the lines are. I know we put, I don't have that information. in
I'm
front
not,
of
what I'm
me.
trying
I
to
know
tell
we
you
put a
though,
brand new
what I'm
system
trying
in
to tell
on
you,
Summit Avenue.
Councilman, listen, what I'm trying to tell you is, as much as you see the roads need fixed, you see the roads and ones we know, and we know, council goes through this every year. They pick what they can chew, you know, it's not like the road, and I'm just gonna say, like, I'm upset over this stuff because it makes it sound like anybody here doesn't work. When you read this, there's not a council person that works, there's not a police officer that works, there's not a service guy that works, there's not one. Nobody goes to work here. Yeah, Keith, what is that a picture of? Grass?
One of our sewers, well-maintained sewers. Not.
Well, let me go over to your house and show you your well-maintained house. I could cite you for that. Would
You
like
should come over and
Maybe
see
I'm not
me.
doing my
Please come
job. And then when I
over.
go to try to take care of the neighbor next door, you give me this thing like, leave him alone because he's
I
a good
didn't,
guy.
I didn't, you know what, you guys wanna bring somebody else into the loop. The person that you're talking about is a kind person, he's a nice
I
person.
understand that,
He
but
let me borrow his water
what I'm
from
trying
the
to tell you
foundation.
is much, and okay, there's a good point. Mayor's wanted to put a whole sewer crew on that does nothing but sewers every day of the week, 40 hours a week. Because we take our crews, we do sewers, and then we do, where is it at, Keith? Because you could have showed me the.
They're all over, don't you have eyes, Jason? I mean, Mr. Walters?
Yeah, I got eyes.
You should go
I
around and
got
look,
eyes, I
Mr.
got
Walters.
ears, and I listen to you, and I'm out of my damn mind.
This
Like,
one
I
here, this
can't
one in
understand
particular
what's
is
going
on
on.
Electric Boulevard.
Please,
That's electric.
please,
Good.
keep it civil.
When did you take that picture?
2 days ago?
All right, well, thank you. And as I say to council all the time.
Don't you have eyes though?
That's a lie.
You see him? You wanna get closer to him? Take a
No.
good look at him?
Alright, so these shenanigans, you know, look guys, I understand it's election time, we all hate election time, great. I'm glad you can print an 8.5 by 11. I honestly don't care right this minute, because I'm really tired of coming in here 9 months pregnant and listening to everybody go on and on about the same BS.
Beating a dead.
So, I'm talking. Now, I've tried to keep my mouth shut because I don't want to be involved in this garbage. And that's exactly what this is. It's garbage, okay? I have tried to just say nothing, but you know what? I get so frustrated, Keith, because I try so hard, and that's why I said it. This thing. I'm breathing hard now because I said thing. The list of committees, thank you. The list of committees comes out the first of every year, okay? If there's a change. It's posted on the website, and granted, there's times where I'm like, oh crumbs, did I have a committee meeting? Because you know what, life happens and we forget, and I understand that. But in your literature and the way you talk, and Jay makes such a good point, I absolutely hate being included in the stuff you say, because you bitch about administration not doing stuff. I'm part of administration. And you know, just let me finish, because I can feel how red my face is right this minute, because I'm profusely sweating. Okay? I have tried so hard to stay out of this, because you know what? I've known you for a long time, okay? I'm not getting involved in all these, I hate politics for this reason, right here, okay? That's why I stay out of it. But there's just some things that you just don't help yourself with because you're not listening. You're not listening, Keith.
I listen to you. I listen to you.
When I do this,
Hold on.
like my kids, I have
You're
to
9
freak
months
out.
pregnant, and so my daughter is also 9 months pregnant. No, we're going.
So
But
listen,
no,
listen.
and I know, I'm waiting
Listen,
for her
no,
to
time
tell
out,
me.
time.
Okay,
I'm still talking.
That has nothing to do with this, Keith.
okay, go ahead, I'm gonna finish.
Just makes me more
Your
angry.
family has nothing to do with this.
So, what happens is, when you attack my political baby, which is my service department, I get very angry. Because I go through a lot with Jay and Trish and the guys, trying to do our budget and get it together and have our residents be like, yeah, okay, all right, we'll settle for that this year, and you know, we're trying. They can see that we're trying, okay, we're trying. But when you make it sound like we don't do anything, there's so many things that I've told the mayor, you're not getting that. Nope.
True.
Sorry. And they send me to do it, and if I'm afraid to do it, I send Trish. But there's been so many things where I'm like, look, I know that's like, let's say I'm making this up, but I know that's like $1,500, but I'm not giving you that because I want to allocate that $1,500 to something else. You know, and Mayor will give me that face, and we'll kind of talk about it, and he'll try and convince me otherwise, I try and convince him otherwise, until we agree. That's why our budget season gets stressful. We are in budget season plus election season, which I think everybody just needs a cocktail for, okay? But you can't make it seem like we're all doing nothing, because that hurts me. I leave my babies at home. I leave dinner. I leave sports games and tryouts and all that stuff to come here to do nothing. Then why am I here?
Can I speak then?
Absolutely.
Okay, I was just telling you that I don't think that you should have to come up and stress yourself out when I spoke of your situation, because I know that's a dire situation, and I sympathize, because I know it's very uncomfortable. I know from listening to somebody else about it. But when you ran, you're running unopposed right now for council person at heart. And the last time you ran against, I believe, Renell here, and you ran against Gary Rodriguez. I'm gonna come over to the point. when you ran, you talked about how much you wanted to make those parks nice.
I did.
That was what you ran on. And since you ran, nobody's even put a little bit
Okay.
over there to straighten out the
But hold on,
fences or
hold on,
anything.
okay, let me say about that. My running platform was I wanted this village to be something my kids were proud of, to stay here. Because I grew up here, I left, I was miserable, and I came back. So I wanted my kids to want to stay. We have almost lost our fields for baseball and softball, which my daughter plays, okay? So what did we do, Nick? In touch with who we needed to. We got dirt done, we got a parking lot done, we got the curbs up for the residents that are being inconvenienced due to the usage of the parks, okay? That's something.
It is. Here we are.
We've had mulch, correct?
Yes.
We've had blacktop, we've had paint, we've had, I wanna say basketball nets, but I don't know if I'm looking that up.
You always put it best.
Okay, I thought so. Though you haven't seen a bulldozer come in and demolish it and rebuild it, things still have happened.
I agree with you, but here's
So I didn't lie, it's my pleasure.
Okay, if you wanna keep talking, then all right. Here's the thing about this. You speak of your daughter and your family and wanting to be really proud of that. And one time I brought pictures that were not.
Can we get to a point?
I'm gonna get to the point and I'm gonna speak about this. My mom, you know, lives next door to the playground. She's in her late 80s, and so is my father. And we grew up over here, I grew up here, and that, we had ice skating rink, it was nice over there, it was teeter-totters, swings. And now, all of a sudden, I want a little bit, and he's even said it, it's a conflict of interest. It seems like it's a conflict of interest. And he took the pictures and threw them up in the air before the meeting. All the pictures that I was showing you guys of the parks and how they needed attention. And that was in the beginning of the year this year. And I'm just,
Are you referring to me, Keith?
yes,
Yeah, when I said to you, can you come to me and talk to me during the day, not in a council meeting?
we
over
have
it?
spoke.
One person at a time, please.
When have we spoke?
We spoke the time that Mr. Hipson, you and I were over there at the park looking at that apparatus that Burger King put up, or we had put up by Burger King. We spoke, and I told you what was up.
Okay, what are we doing? Nothing.
I just want to do something.
Alright, so you,
We're
again,
trying, we're trying.
alright. Out of all the things, how many catch basins do we have in the town?
Too many.
Oh, you tell me, you're the
Well, you
superintendent.
got a picture of one, so tell me how many we got.
How many pictures? I got a picture of about 10 of them.
Alright, so 10 out of about 300, we're doing alright. I'll make sure we get those in.
Well,
If you would've came to me during the day and said, hey Jay, we got a couple of these, again, out of all the streets, every day we have work that we gotta get done. What are the guys doing now, Keith?
I don't know, Jason, the thing
Wait a
about it
minute,
is you're
what are the
the,
guys out
you're-
doing now?
there's nobody at home.
They're out
watching
crack
TV.
sealing, thank you, Councilman. They're out crack sealing.
Okay, but here, okay.
Would you stop interrupting, please? One
What do you
person at a
want me to
time.
do? If you're gonna go and
Jason,
take
you're the
pictures, listen to me.
superintendent, it's your
Stop,
I'm
responsibility.
trying to talk
Mr.
to you.
Sheriff, stop interrupting.
I know what I am. You're trying to figure out what you are. And that's all I'm trying to tell you. If you're gonna do this stuff, if you're gonna say, hey, you can either before council meetings, after council meetings, or if you can't get a hold of me during the day, which I find hard to believe, but if you can't, then you come up to me before and you say, Jay, I took this picture. To sit here and come up here and just start putting these out there, and then I watch you go around during the day sometimes. I haven't seen you lately, but I see you going around cutting grass or things you're gonna do, you'd think that you'd come and stop and talk to me and say, hey Jay, I've seen, or someone said, hey, this catch basin near my house has grass growing by it. Okay? Does that mean it's unfunctioning? I don't know. It does?
Yeah, I gave a picture to Mr. Wysocki when the restaurant by the light and the flower shop flooded, and also the Chinese food restaurant flooded, and it was full of trash.
That was addressed.
It got fixed.
And I gave him, it was full of trash, and then he was talking about a $60,000 project to fix it. We got a 5-foot pipe over there. There's no reason for that when, if you put toilet paper in your toilet and flush it, and it's full up, it's gonna overflow.
Okay, we're gonna
Did you
move
see
on.
Rich, those catch basins
Can I make
fixed?
it-
We're gonna move on.
Can I interject or not?
No, go ahead.
Go ahead.
My point, you know, I love this. This just proves my point, the more he speaks. And that's just all I'm gonna tell you. If you're gonna do this stuff, you're gonna run around telling everybody that no one works around here, nobody does stuff, you know, then go ahead, all right? But I'm telling you, is that your picture, Keith? You know, you should frame it and put it right behind your head. That's what you should do.
That's just how much you care.
Yeah, I don't care about the town. You want me to talk about how I care about the town?
No,
What I've done and what I'm willing to do?
no, you showed.
What's that?
Whoa.
what
Man,
happened?
you showed how
All
much
I
you care.
ask
Nothing
is
if you
that
sit on
when we
council.
come,
Hey,
darn
you
things
guys,
that
you
you
got
got
your
point-
turn to talk.
I
Alright,
think
let's
the
do-
You wanna
point,
be the mayor? You wanna be a
You
mayor?
can't even talk to a
I don't wanna talk
constituent
about
nice.
this right at this
I
point,
think
but let's
the
deal
point-
with
Okay,
the issue.
Mr. Sheriff?
the point is, if there's a concern,
I have.
we need to address
Done nothing.
things to each other prior. Or after, or like if you're, you know, I write the whole time I'm here, I take notes and do all this. So as you think of something and you write it down and then you approach Trish or Chief and say, hey, you know, during the meeting I had a, you know, I thought or whatever. Instead of, we don't need to sit up here and intentionally make each other look bad. Because if we don't function as a team, there is no function, so there's not gonna be any progress. I mean, this is how it goes.
Common courtesy, that's what it comes down to. Special, well, the thing is if you have something that you see is going on, you reach out to that to that department ahead of time so that they can research it, so they can come back to you and let you know, this is what's happening, that's not what's happening, this is why we're doing this. So that if you talk to your department ahead of time, then you can go ahead at the next meeting saying, you know what? I brought that up to you, what's going on? I haven't heard from you. But it is wrong to blindside, to put a deer in the headlight and say, here, what are you gonna do about it?
Right.
It's a common courtesy, we all are one, working together for the good of our village. And that's what the way it should be for all of us.
I agree.
You agree, I didn't do that.
I agree.
Right.
Oh, yes, I did. I took a tour with you and the chief, and we looked at these sewers. I pointed them out to you.
You didn't do it yourself.
Yes, I did.
Why
I-
did you
Take
do
your
those
shoes,
pictures?
looking at damn
Because I wanted to,
pictures.
I was showing them. Look, and I was told by Mr. Bryan that I'm not allowed to talk to anybody in any department. It's the first said, I gotta go through the mayor. I did just that.
That is absolutely not true. I said, you
When I first
certainly
saw
have a right to bring up issues to department heads and ask them, bring them to their attention, ask them. I said, you're not allowed to order an employee to do something. That mayor is their supervisor. You're not your direct supervisor, but you're free to communicate with them, bring up whatever issues you need, concerns you have, and
Yes.
have them take care of.
Excuse
Council,
me.
correct me if I'm wrong, do I ever sit up here and say, hey, if there's something we're not catching, if you see something needs done in your ward or anywhere else, let me know and I'll get it taken care of,
Absolutely.
okay? I don't see every street every day, I don't see every catch basin every day. What do you got? What?
You work.
You're looking at me like a
You
puppy
work
waiting
here,
for a
Mr.
treat.
Walters, and Mayor, do you not recall our ride around the neighborhood with?
Yes,
Oh,
and,
yes.
yes, and we did do something about it. That was the grass and
No, we
weed
didn't.
ordinance that you voted no on.
Still, the grass,
Yes,
the grass
yes.
ordinance,
That
that grass
is
was
true.
6 foot tall over by the barber
We
shop.
voted
That's what I
no,
was
we
talking about,
voted
not
no
6
on-
inches.
I'm talking, Mr. Sheriff, would you please be quiet? You voted no on the grass and weed
Yes, I
ordinance,
did.
and that's what
Vote
we
no.
did. Yes, you did.
Yes, I did.
And you wanna
It's
do-
ludicrous, a
and-
ludicrous rule.
And, excuse me, but you want to be the beautificationer all of a sudden, and you voted against everything on Route 8 to make it more beautiful.
But it wasn't his wedding.
Yes, because it wasn't his way.
There's some grass that's over 6 inches tall right
So
there.
you voted
Yeah,
no?
you voted so why do you care?
You voted
Wait a second.
Why do you care?
Here's another one, 10 inches tall right
You
there.
voted no!
You voted no for the grass and weed ordinance.
The point of the matter is, and nobody asked, you're not supposed to speak at this time, the point of the matter is when I first brought this grass thing, The barber shop had 6-foot-tall ragweeds in it.
But
in the
you
fall
voted
of it.
no,
I
you
voted
voted
yes.
yes.
Okay. Done with this conversation. We're moving on.
Well, wouldn't that
Let's
take
move
care
on.
of?
We're moving on. Of course, municipal officers, the merit,
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
the merit at this time does not have anything. Moving on to the finance director, Ms. Ingrassia.
The September 2019 end of the month reports and reconciliation were passed out to everyone. May I have a motion for acknowledgement of receipt?
Motion.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Magistrelli, seconded by Ms. Gonzalez. All in favor of the motion?
Yes.
Yes.
All opposed? Motion passes.
There are appropriation amendments for this evening. The first one is just a $0 exchange for the police department to be able to repair their communication equipment, their radios. The second one is for engineering services. The fire department survey threw us a little bit over budget, or whatever the word was that Rich did to facilitate the new project moving forward. The SCM&R fund needs adjustments due to more projects that came in last minute. And the largest one is the OPWC direct payments. I've had that and it is encumbered in the TIF fund. However, I feel that it's inappropriate to expense and revenue OPWC funds from the TIF fund. So I'm expensing and revenuing, which again, these are $0 transactions. We never actually receive the money. We don't have it in our hands, but we have to, we're required by state regulations that we have to show them coming in and out of our books. The capital line is for equipment for the K-9 that needed to be increased, and the property values for the Broxino for the school district compensation and fiscal officer treasurer fees. Because the property value was increased, so do the fees and the payments that go out to our school systems.
Right, and that's money that never comes into our accounts either. It's
Right.
paid by the fiscal officer, county fiscal officer, right to the schools, but we've got to show it coming through the
Exactly.
TIF fund.
Does anybody have any questions? Okay, that concludes my report. Thank you.
Mr. Wasowski, engineer.
Before I start the report, the engineering cost for the fire station was for the updated survey. The plans that were, for the building that was built in the year, I think 2000 or 2001, the architect, we can't find no evidence that he did an as-built survey when he finished the building. And our new architect asked if the information we gave him basically was up to date and current and he can use it for design. And I said I couldn't guarantee that because I didn't do any as-built survey on that. Fortunately, we did the survey and we found out that the building wasn't built quite the way the plans show it should have been, the elevation wise. And it changed, actually, the new architect is changing the drainage layout because of that. And the floors were different levels than they should, so we'd have been in real big trouble if we started building that building without that as-built survey, because things wouldn't have fit. Then, okay, the Ledge Road reconstruction phase 2. I forgot to change the title. This is Northfield Road. I should say Northfield Road. Striping. Mr. Chair asked about striping the crosswalks and sidewalks on Route 8 and some additional streets. And I told him that, I had talked to the State Highway Department before about this, and they told me that they would not stripe the crosswalks or sidewalks on State Route 8. I guess Mr. Sheriff wasn't very happy with that answer. So after I talked to you, Mr. Sheriff, I called ODOT back up confirm this. I couldn't remember the first time if I talked to Frank Phillips, that's who I normally talk to on things concerning Route 8. I also talked to people in the traffic department on a number of items. I couldn't remember which one I talked about striping. So I called Mr. Phillips up. He wasn't in, but his deputy was in. His deputy said that he didn't know anything about this, but he was going to go up and look at Route 8 that day, hopefully that day, and see what condition the lines were in. The deputy never got back to me, but Mr. Phillips did. He left a message on my machine. And he said, Mr. Phillips, who's the maintenance chief at District 4, his office is in Hudson, he talked to the traffic department over at ODOT in their Coventry office, the main office. They told him very specifically, in a village, a state highway in the village, the state highway department cannot stripe stop bars and crosswalks as part of normal maintenance. Under state law, and he told me ORC 5522.01, that the law states that they can only do the longitudinal lines, which are center line, lane lines, and edge lines. That's all they can do. And basically they would not be striping as part of maintenance, the roadway. So that's never going to occur. So I think we should never bring that up again. That's over, as far as I'm concerned. So if we want to stripe it, we can. And the plan was the 3 intersections that we're doing the new signals at, when we get those done, we're going to stripe those 3 intersections for stop bars and crosswalks. And if the council so desires, we can stripe anything else you want on Route 8. But I cannot personally authorize it, Mr. Chair, and I told you that. I have no authority to spend your money. So you're gonna have to authorize it, you as council, or if it's under $5,000, the mayor can authorize it, if it's under $5,000. So it's gonna be over $5,000. So the council, if you want the rest of State Route 8, stop bars and crosswalks repainted, just tell me, I'll talk to Jason, we'll get some companies to give us some prices on this, and we'll get it done. Okay, the State Route 8 and Ledge Road traffic signal, the insurance company of the lady that hit the pole has given a check to Signal Service. It was a little bit over $9,000 for the replacement of the pole. We'll probably see the pole late next spring, so it's gonna be that long before we get the pole in. And then once they get the pole, they'll put it up and it'll be done. Houghton Road reconstruction, and traffic signals. We're still waiting for the traffic signal poles, but they started putting up the cabinets, the control cabinets, but they're sort of useless without the poles. So as soon as the poles come in, and we've been told late November, early December, that's what the manufacturer told us, so. The Rain Barrel Workshop, we had the workshop on Wednesday, September 18th. We had 10 rain barrels completed. We had 2 personnel from the service department came up, extremely helpful. If the people that had the rain barrels, they brought their drills up and we got things together there. We went real well. I think the only, I think 5 people were from the village and 5 were from other places. So we have 3,800 people in the village. We had 5. Everybody else thought it was a good turnout. I don't know. We're gonna have another one though. They want another one.
That's
So,
optimistic.
yes, we're,
When will that be, Rich?
they haven't decided yet. It'll
Okay.
probably be next spring or
All right, just keep us posted.
The Houghton Road and Boardman Road asphalt milling and resurfacing. The letters were passed out to all the residents along Houghton Road, the section of Boardman Road between Phil and Houghton. And we gave it to everybody in Victory Boulevard too. That was last Friday. The contractor indicated to us, I think that last Thursday, that he would be coming in tomorrow. I haven't seen any of his equipment. I was up here this morning, I didn't see any of his equipment on this job site. He hasn't called me. I hope he comes tomorrow, but it should be soon. If it's not tomorrow, it should be soon. Coventry Road Plan Survey. My surveyors have been up there off and on, surveying the center line. They're doing driveway profiles now, cross sections and drainage structures. We're authorized right now just to do the plan survey. Then after that, we should discuss doing the plans, exactly when you want it done by, and work on that. That's all I have.
Thank you, Rich. Moving on to the law director, Mr. Bryan. Yes, absolutely you can, Mr. Whitefish.
Rich, I actually have one question and one statement. Along with the boxes being put up for Ledge and Houghton, or Northfield and Houghton, the bolts and the pads and everything are in for the bars, correct? I thought I saw all those.
He's talking about all the underground, Rich.
Oh, yeah, all the underground conduits, yeah.
Okay, and then I had one question about the site survey for the fire department. When we built it, we took a lot of ground out of there,
Yes.
and we put a lot of ground in there. Could that have possibly settled, causing the difference in the elevations, do you think?
No, you didn't notice major cracking in the
Okay.
garage door.
Sure.
Okay. I think they
Just missed it.
for some reason they made adjustments. I don't know. And Phil Pollen handled that
Correct.
totally, so I
Yes.
was involved in
Thank you.
Moving on to the law director, Mr. Bryan.
Thank you, Mayor, I have no report.
Moving on to the department heads, Police Chief John Zlogus.
Thank you, Mayor, Council. I gave my September report at the last meeting, actually. So the only thing I have to bring up is that $1,000 for the radios. We're having an issue with our radios being out of frequency, and we need to get it taken care of. So it's an unexpected expense. I would like to remind council, or tell council, that in 2021, Macedonia is moving to the 800 radio system, which we will have to buy all new car radios, buy new portables. And we're probably looking at a car radio is about, because it's an 800 system, it's about $5,000 a piece, and a portable radio is about $3,000. So, we have 7 marked cars, we have about 20 portables, so it's gonna be a big expense. I believe Macedonia is putting money aside next year for it, and then in 2021, they're putting more money and actually go through with it in 2021. I can get a better price if we want to set money aside next year. We're probably talking $65,000, $70,000 for us. That was, but I can get a better price and get a quote on this year's prices. And the council chooses to set it aside next year or half of it, that's fine. And then the other half the following year, or just bite the bullet in 2021 and just pay for it all that. So that's something that'll be coming up. And also, for Mr. Sherr's request about the 2 other camera companies, I did reach out to them through email, and I copied the SNOAC on the email, sent them out the quote without the prices on it, and that was Monday after council meeting, and I have not heard back from them yet. I am going to move forward with B&C about the presentation, and if one of those other companies get back to me, we'll try to fit them in. So, and that's all I have there.
Thank you.
Mayor?
Yes, Mr. Whitefish.
Thank you. Chief, what happened to the radios that made the frequency go off? Because they are programmed
Yeah, age, bouncing around. From my understanding, if you have a frequency, you have two frequencies. You have a transmit frequency and a receive frequency. The frequency is 425.625. If that 6.625 gets knocked off to 6.2423, it's not the true frequency and we get the stat. So our portables are probably about 12 years old. We don't want to obviously buy new 420 radios if we're going to have to replace them with 800. So we figured that this was an expense that will take us the next 2 years. We're going to start out and see with about 5 radios and see if it makes a difference before we spend the total amount of money.
And one other question, did you exhaust the grants that were out for the 800 radios? Are they still available, or
Yeah,
through Marks or anything else like that?
I do not know. And that's something that I talked to Jason Buss about, and that we're going to look into, obviously, if we get the grant.
Thank you.
Fire Chief Jason Buss is not present. He'll be at our next regular consider council meeting. Service and Building Superintendent, Mr. Walters.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. The road crackfill program actually ended today. Machine will be getting cleaned up tomorrow, so the company can come get their machine. At this point, we're gonna go ahead and start fixing up some of the things. We have some of the issues at parks, which I met with the mayor about, that we're gonna be fixing. The other thing will be leaf season's coming, which starts October 28th. I believe that's a Monday. There were some comments that came up about how we only do one pass, things like this. The program's designed that we don't start collecting leaves like now. There is communities that do, but as you see, the majority of the leaves are still green, we're not gonna drive around all day just kinda looking for a pile here and there. So we try to wait till we get most of the leaves down, and the hope is that everybody, when they get down, they get them out and we get them collected. The reason we don't do 2-3 passes, or at least advertise that we do, is, we can't keep that equipment tied up as we get into snowfall. So, I mean, the leaf season, it's in many ways it's good, and then there's many ways it's, but we can't go daily for months and go collect leaves. So, generally, we get everybody one pass, and then people do go by after. We've never left leaves out. We go back and get them. But we do advertise that we're gonna do it once, and again, come October 28th, if the majority of the leaves are still green, they're up in the trees, I'm gonna set it back. We're gonna do other things until we get the majority of them falling. That's the way we do it year after year. And if you start getting calls or whatever, I'll be happy to explain it, but that's what we're doing. It takes up a lot of time, and I'll be honest with you, it's getting harder and harder to get rid of these leaves. Most places now are charging, so we're big bonds dealing to get rid of them. So you've got to understand that I don't want to start paying to dump the leaves. That's a whole nother expense we're not used to. Rich talked about Houghton. I anticipated seeing them today, but we didn't. The only other thing I have now is I would say to everybody again, and I'm going to ask Mr. Scher to go ahead and give me his pictures, or at least the addresses of his concerns, and I will address weeds or whatever that are growing in front of a catch basin. At the same time, it's not going to deter. Obviously, there's one thing that might be happening is that catch basin might not even be taking on water regularly, and that's generally what happens. You get a bunch of sediment build up in there, whatever. But as far as maintaining them, if they're broke or whatever, we definitely fix them. We do generally, when we're out doing leaves, we come back and we get all these catch basins factored out. That's our normal, because what happens when the leaf season, most of the leaves kind of get piled up around our catch basins, so we have to go back and factor out our catch basins. I can't do this stuff every day, and we don't. And we did spray all the roads this year like we do every year. I'll show you the cost we have in weed killer. So, you know, generally it takes care of it. I'll be honest with you, the weed killer, we got a good bunch in the first part of the season, and then the second bunch we have is more of the by rule of the solvents and stuff used, I guess, change, and you could tell a difference in the way it kills things and how long it stays dormant. Generally, we used to get 9 months at minimum out of that stuff. So, but we spend about $1,700 per 55 gallon drum on weed killer, and we do go through a few a year. So, as I tell you all the time, and I'll tell Mr. Sheriff now, you know, go ahead and show me, I'll get it taken care of as soon as possible. All right, thank you.
Now the reports of municipal boards and commissions. Mr. Hibbs, the planning commission.
Planning Commission will have a meeting this month on the 16th at 7:30. We're going to discuss the Zaremba Group development on the property up the street here. This will be the first property in the village, first project in the village that will use the overlay district.
That's
I
very
know
exciting.
that we were all kind of hopeful that this was like a 10-year thing to see fruit from. But within the first 2, we're going to see a project that uses that. So it's good news, see some new development. The improvements that will come along with the overlay district, wider sidewalks, more landscaping, and the beautification of a privately held property. Something that we can do through legislation and hope that somebody fulfills with their own money. It's not something that the village can directly pay for, but we've got the legislation in place, so we can move forward with that. I believe all the planning commission members have been notified, got 2 of them here this evening, so we'll have that meeting, and probably the last meeting of this month, we'll have something for council to rule on officially.
Ellen, I have a question. How long is that meeting gonna be? Do you have an idea?
We usually get them done in about 15 minutes.
Oh, really?
Yeah, there's usually a short presentation. Rich handles things well. This may include the developer or the architect at this point. There's 2 variances that they're requesting, I believe. It may take a little longer, so I'd say half hour, 45.
Thank you.
We get business done quickly.
Okay, recreation board met. We talked a lot about Halloween. We also talked about Veterans Day. You know, we got some times down. I don't have that paper with me, I apologize that I don't. Mrs. Noack, do you remember what time and day we nailed down for that?
I have for Halloween, Chief, you can confirm this, I have it 6 to 8 for the village, and the rec board was supposed to be here at 5:30. I show for Veterans Day, 3 o'clock, which is on November 10th here in the chambers, and then December 15th at the fire station for the Christmas party for the children. It's gonna be from 4 to 5.
Thank you, I apologize for that. Our next meeting will be November 6th at 6:30 here at the council chambers. Reports to the standing committees, Mr. Magistrelli of Finance.
No report this evening.
Mrs. Domzowski, Roads and Public Works.
No report this evening, Mayor.
Mr. Sheriff, Health and Welfare.
No report.
Mr. Wojtusz of Wages and Working Conditions.
No report, Mayor.
Ms. Noack of Fire and Safety.
I don't have a report, but Chief, with us only having the one that we're gonna bring out for the cameras for the demonstration, would you please get with him so that I can get a hold of everyone for a work session?
Yes, I will, yes, I will meet with them, what their schedule looks like.
I know that it won't be in October because I know you're extremely busy getting ready for the Halloween party.
Yeah, it could be October, it all depends on their schedule. what
Okay.
their availability
If you could let me know so I can get that up, I appreciate it.
Okay.
Thank you.
Mr. Hibbs of Buildings and Grounds.
No report this evening.
Moving on to legislation, Brad.
Thank you, Mayor. We have 2019-67, an resolution authorizing certain amendments to the 2019 appropriation resolution and/or transferring items already appropriated in that resolution on first reading this evening.
I'd like to suspend the 3 reading rule.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Domzowski to suspend the 3 reading rule, seconded by Mr. Vojtish. All in favor?
Yes.
All opposed?
Motion to passage.
Second.
Motion to pass by Mr. Vojtish, seconded by Mr. Domzowski. Any comments, questions? All in favor of passage?
Yes.
Yes.
All opposed? The resolution is adopted, and that's it for the legislation, Mayor.
At this time, is there any old business, new business, or announcements?
Yes, Mr. Mayor, I'd like to, a couple good notes here. And during the winter, I got a phone call from Jim Walensky, who's head of the Nordonia Hills Athletic Association, about our ball diamonds. And since then, I've gotten 3 or 4 different letters about our service department, what we've done to the fields. If I'm not, correct me if I'm wrong, Mr. Walters, about $1,700 in soil.
I am also on that list that, you know, so he sent you a bunch of texts and all the good things they've been doing.
Yes, it's right around that. It was 40, I can't remember if it was 40 or 60 ton of material.
Well, he just wanted to let us know as a council and as the village what we've done to our fields. He said that Huntington Park has never looked better, baseball diamonds. What we've done to improve that is the best start he's seen in years. He can't even remember what time. And he played on those ball diamonds when he was in elementary school. So he also this past week gave me a nice text about Smith Park. Said that Smith Park looks great. They've been tilling it. They've been grading it. They put the baseball pegs in for the bags, and they put a new plate in. Next year, he would like to have a new grand opening for this field, because they're going to be using our fields more than they've ever used them before. My wife and I went to a fundraiser over the winter time, and it was a complete success. There must have been 300 people there to support these kids in baseball. And we're part of that as Northfield Village. We're part of that. And they just want to say thank you to the community, thank you to everybody, that we're just getting started. And it's good to have us back. It's good to have the fields in the best playing condition in the area. Thank you, Council. And Mr. Walters, a special thank you to you and Chris, because he said Chris has been a gem. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Is there anyone else that has old business, new business, or announcements? Yes?
Yes. The news leader had an article in the paper about the banners. I just want to let everybody know I'm in the final phases. I should have it out by the end of the week for the application. Will you please let the administration know of a huge apology? I did not put anything in the news leader saying the calls are to come here with any questions. So if they do get them, if they would just either give my phone number or the my Ward C email, would be greatly appreciated.
No problem.
Thank you.
That wasn't in the fine print.
Mayor, I also have something.
That's scary.
Back to the parks issue. I have been doing some work behind the scenes, and I did talk with the mayor this evening about looking at a splash pad. Gave him kind of the quote that they gave me to build another one just like it, and he's planning on going over there. So it's a very beautiful park. The one in Parma on Highway 20.
If anyone would like to go with me, they're more than welcome. We'll plan something. Anyone else?
I
Mr.
have
Hibbs.
several items, more directed towards Mr. Sheriff. Do you use a graphic designer for your literature that you put out on the street? Namely, this last
I don't
trifold.
want to talk about my platform at this point.
Are you familiar with this logo? Probably everybody that you've distributed to has seen it more in this form. You do realize that that is a trademark logo of Sender LLC of Chicago.
No, that logo, that's not, I don't believe that is.
That is Obama's logo from his 2008 campaign. There's been several cases litigated for copyright infringement. which is a federal offense. Sole Sender is now a partner of VSA Partners LLC, also out of Chicago. Their legal department has been informed of your use of their logo that they designed in 2000, whenever, for his campaign. Several other items on there I couldn't find an open source for, so you might want to talk to whoever's putting out your graphics about their use of copywritten material.
Thank you.
Furthermore, you speak of administration. If by chance you do become mayor, how much of this administration changes? Because you make the point that Mr. Wojtusz and Mr. Tomzolski are running unopposed. No one else is up for election. I don't see anybody else changing seat. So you will have the same administration under you. Another question. You've got plenty of pictures of catch basins over there. Where do you think the money to fix those comes from? That would be that sewer fund that you want to get rid of. Therefore, where will the rest of the money to actually fix those come from? It will come from the taxpayers.
Well, here's the thing, why don't we start a new fund then, so we could have a fund on top of the fund and then we could get this.
So here's a question for you. How does the village get money to spend? We tax people. So you can create whatever fund you want, the
You were
funding source is
when
the
they.
same.
Can you let you speak, Mr. Sheriff, please?
The funding source is the same, whether you're taking it out of a sewer check or you're taking it out of our revenue stream from taxes. It's all coming out of the people of the village. It doesn't matter what pot you move the money from, it comes out of the same hands.
Do you want me to address that?
Feel free.
In 1972, we had a sewer plant down in the bottom of Chestnut. Now it's a place where we put our road debris. We get billed already for sewer maintenance with our water bill. And I don't know how much comes back from that.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Excuse me, Mayor, it's your responsibility to see that those catch basins are cleaned up and they're, and how can I say, if we're gonna charge people to maintain our sewers, well, they should be maintained, don't you think?
Yeah, I do think that.
Okay, well, they're paying for that, they're not being maintained.
Mr. Sheriff, I'm gonna.
Mr. Sheriff, one moment. Mr. Sheriff, how many catch basins did we fix this year?
They need to be maintained because.
That wasn't my question. That wasn't my question. How many catch basins did we fix this year?
You know the sidewalk?
That wasn't my question.
In front of.
My question
almost 2
is,
years.
how many did we fix?
2 years.
Okay, you don't know. Moving
2
on.
years.
I want to hear it. Moving on.
Mr. Chair, just so that we have some clarification here, the bill that the residents pay to Northeast Ohio Regional Sewer District is for the treatment and sanitation of the sewage that leaves their homes. The maintenance fee of $33 per quarter, which actually probably should be increased and hasn't been in years, is for the actual maintenance of the sewer lines that our service department performs, sewer jetting, cammering the lines, removing debris from trees, from the aged sewer lines that are within the village. So if you remove that charge, you're basically taking that maintenance and we're footing the bill for that, the village itself, out of their general fund budget. And that is not something that is sustainable. You will bankrupt the village doing that, along with the rubbish collection, in my opinion.
Well, the thing about it is at least we can do is clear up those windows, okay? If we're gonna pay for it, right? The windows on all the catch basins, there's weeds growing up on many of them. You guys.
I'll be up there tomorrow with
Sheriff,
my work boots
I
and my
said,
gloves.
I'm
I'm gonna talk to you after that.
We'll see if I can get those catch basins cleaned up
I'll be
before you
standing
get your
there making
house.
sure you ain't going into labor.
Okay, let's see who gets done first.
So
I'm building that house solo.
continuing, there's been a lot of videos around and a lot of disrespectful things out on the street, and did some research on the most critical and crucial point of this. You know that 1 in 3 women in the United States have been sexually assaulted.
Yeah.
1 in 5 have been raped.
Yeah.
Every 98 seconds, a woman is sexually assaulted.
Yeah.
Nearly 19,000 women in uniform are assaulted in the ranks every year. That's 1 in 7 assaulted within their chain of command. Given this information, I make a motion to censor councilperson Share for conduct unbecoming an elected official. Specific unbecoming conduct of production, posting for public view, videos containing crude content related to the sexual assault of women. And the
Never,
production
I
and
never,
posting
never,
of views,
never.
production and posting for public view, videos containing racial, offensive generalizations and stereotypes.
I never, that, you should play that, whatever video you're talking about.
I have it, would you like me to?
Yeah,
You should play it.
play it.
There's a
Not at
motion
this
on the
time.
floor.
We have a motion on the floor.
All right, you're making a motion to censure Mr. Scherer
That is
on those grounds? Okay. It might be helpful, Mr. Hips, if you can repeat the terms of the motion, just so council understands it, and before you go, that under the censure procedure, Mr. Hips is making a motion and stating the specific allegations contained in the censure action. So council needs to listen to these allegations and then vote on the motion as far as the allegations, and those are essentially the charges or the allegations that move forward. And then if the motion is approved, according to the charter, council has to schedule a special meeting within 15 days to hear the allegations, which will be presented, I presume by Mr. Hips. Anyone else can weigh in on it on council. Mr. Chair would be allowed to respond and defend himself and give his side of the story, and after that, council make a decision as to whether the allegations are warranted or not. So that's how the procedure.
So reread the whole.
Yeah, if you could read it, just so everyone, council understands what the.
I wrote it out so I didn't make a mess of this. Motion to censor councilperson Share for conduct unbecoming an elected official. Specific unbecoming conduct of production and posting for public view, videos containing crude content related to sexual assault of women. And production and post for public view, videos containing racially offensive generalizations and stereotypes.
Okay.
If you'd like me to expound on this,
Does everyone understand the motion? Does anyone have any questions?
the video is available for view. I've got screen captures of most of the items that were.
No screen captures, you get the video that you're in question and play it for us.
All right, so, motion's on the floor, is there a second? You can do what you want, but right, for the motion to go forward, somebody needs to second the motion.
I did have a question, I apologize. So I'm very new to this, luckily, thank God. So we are saying we're voting to then take this to the next step where things are presented from both sides and then we make a final voting, is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay,
yes.
thank you.
Second.
Okay, motion is seconded by Mr. Magistrelli. Does anyone have any discussion or comments before we vote on the motion?
I would like to make a comment if I may. A couple of years ago, I was censured for making a mistake and leaving my recorder here. I understand mistakes happen, but this is a little different than what I had done, so I just wanted to say that.
Okay, thank you. All in favor of the motion?
Yes.
Yes.
All opposed? Okay. Motion is adopted. Mr. Magistrelli, the next step is to schedule a special council meeting to deal with this issue. I know many of us are going to be here next Wednesday for the planning commission meeting at 7:30. So I don't know if prior to that meeting is a good point to.
That'll be the 16th, correct?
I don't know, so 6:30, that's,
6:30 next Wednesday to,
So you could bring that video. Bring the
Yeah,
videos,
right
please. Bring them, bring all the videos, let's play them through.
Mr. President.
I don't even say, and then the thing is.
Excuse me.
I addressed that.
Excuse me, the council president's speaking.
I will be in Cincinnati that day, but I will try and make that for that. Okay, you know, very important that I think we're all there. The following week, I'll be out of town for work, and I understand that Mr. Bryan will be out of town for work, so if we can't get everybody here on one day, we'll switch the dates, because this is very serious, and everybody needs to have their day. And Mr. Shear, of course, you need to have it, and everyone should be here.
Yes, you should do this before November 5th, because this is gonna be a good.
No,
Okay. Does the 16th at 6:30 work for everyone? Okay,
What day is it?
Wednesday.
a week from today.
That's not good for me.
Well,
Let's get it,
We'll go to the
let's
hospital.
Wednesday after that, or
You can
Tuesday.
Go to the hospital.
Yeah, please.
You're gonna be out of
They
town.
can't, they're out of town.
FaceTimer.
Well, then let's get it on the Monday after that Wednesday, please. Wednesday is gonna be a tough one for me.
Which could be on the planning committee meeting next week?
No, I
Are
can't.
you
Mr.
go out of town?
I'll be out of town next Friday, leaving next Friday, and we'll be back the following Sunday. Well, I hate to do this on a Monday, next Monday.
Not next Monday, the Monday after that, I got a lot of things coming up.
Mr. Magistrelli's gonna be out of town.
Okay, so we'll go on Friday.
And Mr.
I can't do it.
He's gonna be
Can't
out
do it.
No, I'll be,
Uh,
I'll still be in town.
This week coming up, this is not good.
Mr. Chair, listen to what people are saying. They're not even listening to when people are not going to be here. And you keep saying dates that they already said they cannot attend. So please listen.
All right, Mr. Magistrelli, you're stating a week from this Friday you were leaving, right?
Yes,
Okay.
I'll be flying out early in the morning.
Are you gonna be here you gonna be here Thursday?
Thursday on the 17th, is that okay with council?
No, I would say on the 24th, how about that?
He's gonna be out of town.
He's out of town.
And I'm out of town also. So the options are, it sounds like next week, or that next week is out, the week after that would work, but that's beyond the 15 days, so you would have to agree to waive the time limit, Mr. Sheriff.
What is the time limit?
15 days from today.
Okay, let's have it in 15 days.
You have two people that are gonna be out of
You have two
town.
people that are gonna be out of town, you're not listening, Mr. Sheriff. They already told you they weren't gonna be.
When do you leave, in town, Mr. Magistrelli?
Again, it's been said the 18th, when he leaves.
I'll be leaving on the 18th, and I'll be returning home the 25th.
What day do you return?
25th is after your 15 days.
All right, let's do it on the 25th.
It's after your 15 days.
It's after the 15
No,
days.
it's not after 15 days, but Mr. Magistrelli's not, you're not gonna be
We'll be back.
available on the 25th, the 26th, you would be, I'm out of town from the 23rd until the 28th.
I'm not available the 25th.
Mr. President, if the 16th won't work just because I'm out of town, I will try and be here. Why don't we just go back to that date?
What day are you gonna leave, Mr. Magistrelli?
The
18th,
I'll be leaving on the 18th, at 5 in the
How
morning.
about we do it on the,
We all heard it, right? Okay.
I'll be leaving on the 18th, 5:30 in the morning, returning back to Cleveland on the 25th at 6 o'clock in the evening.
well, we could do it on when you get back, and then that way it'll be 16 days, and it's all right with me.
But
it's gonna have to be longer than that, because I'm not gonna be in town, so.
again, Mr. Sheriff, you're not listening to what people are saying. They're telling you the days that they're not going to be here, and you haven't listened.
So, it would be, it either needs to be the week of the 14th, the week of the 21, the first is not gonna work, and then sometime the week of the 28th would work if you're willing to
That's
extend the time.
the week of the 28th. That's the day that would be good, because the thing is it's touch and go with me. And I would like very much for it to be working the 28th, please.
Okay, the 28th, I'm not available because that's, I'm coming back later that night, so. The 30th is a Wednesday, does
That
that
would be
work for
fine, yes.
people, day before around?
Yes.
I don't know, but I have no idea what you just said, and I apologize,
30th
I'm
would be a
looking
good
right
day.
at you
I
while
could
you're
do the 30th.
talking. But what is this touch,
Microphone.
I missed it, I'm sorry. What's touch and go with, what?
It would be the 30th. I don't want to tell you what's in my plan.
Okay, well, when I hear touch and go,
Well,
what?
my daughter's about ready to
Please, when I hear touch and go, that hits home for me.
No, I have
So I
very
hope
important
we're not
things coming
talking
up.
about
Could we
something.
do it on the 30th, please?
Yeah, Halloween.
No,
Yeah, 31st.
I'm not available.
Do it now. Do it now.
So I guess,
I have to have an agenda first.
all right, so I don't know if we want to schedule it on the 16th, and Mr. Sheriff,
I
you
don't
get
know
an attorney,
I'm still
and
pissed about touch and go. I'm
You
the
have
one
the
with a
attorney
dying dad
contact
down
me,
the street. I mean, what are we,
if he's not available.
what did I miss?
Which,
Wait, here we go again.
Yeah.
Commissioner, it's not her fault that you can't remember.
I will
what
ma-
you
I'll-
wrote
I'll
on.
I would
make
like to
myself
not to be the
available.
30th.
Excuse me, can we tentatively make this for 6:30 on the 16th? 6:30 on the 16th,
No,
the 15th.
the 30th of this
The
month,
14th.
everybody can be available.
Ms. Gonzalski is not available. So I would recommend, Mr. Magistrelli, you schedule it, and Mr. Scherer's not available, he or his attorney can contact me, and we can see if we can.
And what video, what's the video that it's in question to? Tell me the,
You'll have your chance at the hearing.
no. I gotta know what video we're talking about. We're gonna,
You already know what video.
Mr.
No, I
posted
I
it.
have no idea. I have
Mr.
a
Hipson,
150 video.
You posted it.
I sent it to my uncle and my aunt and you guys. I don't know how you got this video, but anyway,
Mr. Hipson,
tell me what the heading is.
The videos in question are the Juan Keefe videos that were posted to YouTube and Juan Keefe and Friends on Facebook.
Yep.
Also, the
Could
Skulls
you tell me the
video.
heading, please?
So he can delete it.
It's already been removed, but
Oh, then you don't have
I
this
have it.
video you're talking
Juan
about.
Keefe and Passing Gas,
Stroking the monkey.
Juan Keefe and Stroking the Monkey. You can tell the audience is fully versed in what you've been doing.
What are you talking about? There was no such thing as stroking.
Spanking the monkey.
Spanking the
It was
monkey.
spanking the monkey.
Sorry.
We'll bring that video forward.
The Scully video where you're talking about sexual assault.
No, what was it? What was the name of that one?
Don't have the name.
Well, then you're talking about a video that you're saying that you have and you know about, so let's have that video. Give me the reference. What was the title to it? I want to know the title. I gotta predict this.
Hey, Scotty here,
Many other people need it.
Refreshing your memory?
No, sir.
Let's not hear this, please. Save that for the hearing.
okay, Mr. Magistrelli, you're making a motion to schedule the hearing for October 16th at 6:30.
Yes, sir.
Is there a second to the motion? Seconded by Ms. Noack. All in favor of the motion?
Yes.
All opposed? Okay, motion carries. I will get the agenda done and notice out.
What's the date?
October 16th, Wednesday, 6:30 PM.
You got it this time?
Hey, Mayor. Excuse me. You guys are ganging up on me. Because of the video.
Okay, can we have adjournment, please?
No,
Look for
Oh,
adjournment.
wait, I got one more thing. Under new business, in lieu of the attacks that are taking place during our meeting, I would like to know when we can have a debate, so that this can all be handled instead of taking all of our time that is for business to take care of what everybody is asking in an open forum so that it can be handled appropriately.
Okay, can we,
The 30th was open.
is that all you have to say?
That is it.
Okay, do I hear adjournment?
I'm not ganging up on anybody.
Okay.
But I'd like to make a motion for adjournment.
Motion to adjourn by Mr. Bzowski, seconded by Mr. Voitish. All in favor of the motion?
Yes.
Yes.
All opposed? Adjourned at 9:05.
You got it.